Hello, my name is Barbara Makarewicz, and I'm a project coordinator of the SOCENTER project in Zofia Zamenhof Foundation. And today I wanted to tell you more about how to fight climate change through social entrepreneurship initiatives. This seminar or video, as you will be watching it, is a part of the SOCENTER project, Development of Social Entrepreneurship, New Opportunities and Ways of Development, that is co-funded by the European Union. And today I wanted to tell you something more about how you, as a person interested in social entrepreneurships or just social policy, how you can influence your communities and your environment on how to fight climate change. So first of all, I wanted to tell you how important it is to fight climate change and what's the role of social entrepreneurships in this matter. Firstly, it is really urgent to fight climate change. We need to take climate action right now because, as you can probably all see, all of us can experience the hotter and hotter summers, or even other times of the year, or how the different ecosystems and economies, they change depending on the environmental conditions. We need to take this action now because in a few years, these changes might be irreversible. More than that, the specific role of social entrepreneurships is that they are innovative and they can form transformative solutions. For example, come up with ideas that may not get generated or created in just normal enterprises because the norms of working within social entrepreneurships are kind of different, based more on the people engagement and analyzing the needs of our communities, which not always happens in bigger companies or just normal entrepreneurships and organizations. More than that, social enterprises are a place where we can actually change, get inspired by others, by our environment, everything that is around us. And we can actually take action and engage with these solutions or these ideas that speak to us, that we can resonate with. It's a really full of experience environment and full of hands-on practical change and just ways of improving that might not appear in other types of places. So firstly, what is the definition of climate change? Those are the changes that affect all of us on Earth. Like I said before, it can be related to the temperature or the other atmospheric conditions like more rain, less rain, more severe winters, and it can impact our everyday life, but it can also be seen in, for example, agriculture, or maybe constructions, maybe production. Basically, in every aspect of our life, even if it doesn't directly impact us, it can be felt through the changes in societies or in economies. So, like I said before, we need to urgently make sure that we are conscious about our decisions as consumers or as entrepreneurs. So right now we are able to kind of fight the effects of climate change that we can see, but maybe in a few years, maybe in more than a few years, those changes will be irreversible if we don't take action now and we don't start planning our actions, our initiatives. And here is where the social entrepreneurships can really play a crucial role, because as a part of the third sector, they can directly impact the communities and the way we perceive certain activities and certain aspects of how we fight the climate change. So moving on to the more practical stuff, how social enterprises can contribute to environmental sustainability. What is sustainability? Is this kind of development and just doing things that is aware of the conditions and the situation of others and of the resources we use. And sustainable development and sustainable environment are the ones where we preserve our natural habitat and our natural economies and environments in a way that will be left in good conditions for future generations and for the less fortunate groups of people. So first, innovative solutions. Social enterprises are places when we can develop new ways of thinking because we base many of our actions on personal experiences and just talking with each other, creating networks, helping each other. So these are places that are really well prepared for creating innovative solutions. More than that, the element of community engagement allows us to reach out directly to people impacted by the climate change. And by talking with them, by discovering their needs and just gathering ideas from them, maybe we can come up with some new solutions that may not have appeared otherwise. And more than that, the third aspect is the education awareness, because even nowadays, not everyone fully understands how important it is to fight climate change and to be responsible for the natural environment. So firstly, we can talk about these matters and we can educate. And by that way, we can raise awareness in the society overall. So maybe it will be easier to implement the changes that we can come up with. I wanted to bring to you the first case study that I chose for this seminar. I believe that many of you heard about SOCENTER. It's an organization that is active in Africa, where there is really not that much other sources of electricity. So these creative entrepreneurs that are the founders of SOCENTER, they decided to use the solar energy and help maybe less fortunate or just people who are left without other sources of electricity. They provided them with a way to both have access to the electricity and to do it in a way that isn't harmful for the environment or for them, because before using solar energy, many households in Africa were relying on kerosene, which is unreusable source of energy, and it can also be harmful both to the environment and to the people using it. That is why this case study can be an inspiring way for us to see that the changes can be made, and actually when we use what we have around us, we can develop something new and something useful for all members of our communities. So here I prepared you 10 ways to identify environmental problems. Because before we can make any changes, we need to be aware where those changes are needed and how we can actually really change our environment. So firstly, what we can do is community consultations and surveys. Like I said, there is no better way to reach out and gather the information from all around us than by talking to actual members of the communities we want to help. So by organizing consultations or just creating surveys, for example, like online surveys, we can get to know their situations better, and we can prepare answers for them. Next, we have environmental impact assessments. It's a really broad topic because it basically means that you, as a person who wants to make some create some ways to fight climate change, you can create your own studies, or you can create some other forms of communication that are not as popular, and you can just gather your data that you want to use later on when implementing your ideas. Then we have collaboration with environmental NGOs. Non-governmental organizations are also part of the third sector, and they usually gather some kind of data, and they are willing to share it because they can see that the common good that is fighting the climate change can really make a difference. So if you want to have some data that maybe isn't available online, or you just can't access in any other way, try collaborating with these kinds of institutions. They are usually really glad that they can broaden their network and help others with the common goal. Next, we have the analysis of environmental reports and studies. Those are just basically any documents that you can find online or in libraries, in some governmental institutions. They provide you mostly with data gathered from really big surveys or public opinion research. They can help you get like the broadened picture, big picture of the situation you want to influence. Then we have monitoring the changes in policy. We, as a part of the European Union, often implement not only the national policies, but also the international ones. So there are quite a few changes every year. That's why it's important that you make sure you are up to date with everything. So your solutions are actually in line with the EU policy and the national policy. Then we have leveraging technology. Due to the internet and many other technological advances, we are able to gather data not only from our own observations, but from many points. For example, we now have aircrafts that can help us predict the weather, or we have machines that help us predict any movements of like the wind or the earth. So by using that, we can plan our activities and maybe prepare our responses ahead of time. Then we have engaging with experts. There are many people both online and offline on some kinds of conferences or just local meetings that have quite extensive knowledge. And if you want to deepen your understanding and your experience, you can reach out to them, you can chat online, or you can meet. And by that, you can become even more aware, because the knowledge on environmental changes and climate change, it's also expanding every day. So we need to stay up to date and just stay aware of what is around us. Then we have, in my opinion, the easiest and most convenient way, that is social media and online platforms. Most of us have access to the internet, and as you take part in this course, I believe that you are interested in this topic, so you can reach out to many other people who are also interested in and invested in making positive changes of the environment. So you can create communities online if you are unable to do it offline. And together you have bigger resources and you can potentially create a bigger impact. Second to last, we have participation in environmental conferences. I also mentioned it before, but there are many ways in local communities and in bigger cities on maybe national scale, international scale. Anyway, there are many opportunities you can take part in where experts or just activists share their knowledge and experience and their resources. So if you are interested in gaining practical experience and getting connections in the topic of environmental change, you should consider participating in one of those conferences or workshops. And the last one is benchmarking against sustainable development goals. Those are the points where we can see the changes that are implemented somewhere else, in this case in Europe, and we can make sure that we are also following these benchmarks. Okay, so now I wanted to show you 4 different sectors, areas where you can actually create this impact and these changes. So how to engage in climate action sectors as social entrepreneurship. And the first sector is renewable energy solutions. So here are 3 short practical steps that you can take in order to participate in this sector. Firstly, as in many other aspects, do your research. Make sure you understand how to use the information you can get about renewable energy solutions. For example, if in your local community there are any gaps. So, for example, you live in a place where there is a lot of sun, but you don't use solar energy. So dig deeper, why we aren't using it, how we can get grants or maybe national support for implementing these kinds of renewable energy sources. If there are any limitations that prevent you from using it, just make sure you have all of the information that are needed before you start taking any action. Then you proceed to develop innovative solutions. And if you have an idea already, that's great. If you don't know how to deal with that, but you see the need to engage with renewable energy, then take a step back and go back to the 10 steps I explained before, making sure you are using the potential of your network, or you can expand your network and collaborate with others in order to get the best possible innovative solutions to your local community. And then, lastly, partner with your local communities. Like I said before, the people closest to you, around you, they know the best what their needs are, and some of them may have ideas how to implement it, but may not have the resources or the possibilities. Be there for them, talk to them, and work together with them so that they are aware of their possibilities and they know they can reach out to you in order to get some help and engage with renewable energy solutions in this example. Okay, the next one is waste management and recycling innovations. This particular sector can be implemented everywhere, as every one of us needs to deal with waste management. The idea of recycling isn't new, but for some people it's still really hard to fully understand and participate. So what you can do first, analyze waste streams. Make sure what is the structure of the most waste that is generated in your area. Maybe there are some kind of specific ways, like, for example, you have a lot of constructions, or you have a lot of green lands, so people have biodegradable waste to manage. Make sure you understand what are the needs and why the local communities may have trouble following the guidelines for waste management. Then try to create a solution. Use brainstorming and once again networking. Talk with people about how they do it nowadays before any changes. Maybe some of those solutions can be not directly changed, but just modified in a way that is more eco-aware and helps fight climate change. And just design a system that will be working both for you as a community and for the environment. And then promote awareness. Waste management is another way for us to fight climate change very directly, because like I said, every one of us is part of this part of the group that is responsible for our own waste. So we need to be educated and we need to understand how to manage waste properly, and how to even try and reduce our waste, maybe leaning more into recycling or reusing. It's also an area that may be interesting for you, the reusing of old clothes or things. Basically everything that doesn't have to be discarded immediately, but can find a new life somewhere else. Okay, now the third sector, sustainable agricultural and food systems. It can correlate a lot with globalization, because as of now we can access basically everything via the very, very developed network of transport. So what we can do to make agriculture more sustainable, we can assess the practices that are around us and make sure that the farmers or the producers in our local communities, they use the most of the resources they have, and also they have the support of the customers. Sustainable agriculture measures can range from using chemicals that aren't toxic to animals or other plants, or and the other side of the spectrum may be using machines run on reusable energy. So there is quite a lot of things you can focus on. You can introduce new ideas to local farmers. For example, organic production. It's something that maybe our grandmothers and grandfathers remember when we didn't have that many chemicals. So we can maybe reach out to someone from the older generation and get their insight on how to make the best of the resources we have now without actually damaging the natural environment all around us. And as a consumer, the third part is supporting local businesses and local agricultures. Even though we have access to everything from all around the world, it doesn't mean it's better than what we can grow in our own backyard on our local markets. So make sure that you're conscious about your decisions, and as a part of the social enterprises, make sure you promote these kinds of initiatives. Maybe support local markets, or some other kinds of enterprises that are operating in your area. Make sure that they are reaching their target audience, and also that the target audience is aware of the benefits of engaging with the local farmers and local markets. And the last sector I wanted to tell you about is the green products and eco-friendly manufacturing. So as many of you know, right now we have quite a big problem with fast fashion industry. It's this kind of business strategy where where big manufacturers produce quite a lot quantity of clothing that are really poor quality. They use not biodegradable materials, and they're really bad for the environment, but also not so good for its customers, even though they're really cheap. So they still manage to convince many clients to buy from them. But these practices, combined with the transportation of this clothing and other products created overseas, they are really harmful to the environment. So what we can do as social cooperatives, we can identify the materials and products that are environmentally safe, environmentally friendly. We can do our research also on these kinds of topics. And we can, for example, also support others who are creating products or clothing from these types of materials locally. But more than that, we can channel our own resources and ambitions into creating a manufacturer or other kinds of business that will be part of the market, that will be creating these kinds of products or clothing. So, for example, if you are handy, you can sew, or you want to be a carpenter and use locally sourced wood for making furniture. Maybe that is something that can be viewed really positively in your community, because these kinds of products, they are getting really popular now. And I believe that both collaborating with others that are part of this kind of market, but also becoming part of this kind of market, and highlighting the benefits that it has on the environment, it is a really good marketing strategy and can be used to your advantage, help you grow as an enterprise, but also actively help you fight climate change. So the second case study I wanted to tell you about is the Rubicon Global. It's a technology company, and it's operating in the second sector. I mentioned waste management. They created a way of efficient and effective managing waste that is both sustainable and really easy to implement. Their goal was to reduce the number of landfills by reducing the amount of waste we need to send there, because as many of you know, landfills take up quite a lot of space, and right now they are even created on oceans or on seas, so it's really impactful on the environment. So by getting to the source of the landfill problem, which is the waste management, they managed to implement changes and use technology to kind of change the way we view waste management. And they are also promoting recycling and reusing, like I mentioned, the ways to make things last longer and not go directly to trash after one use, for example. Okay, we are coming to the end of this video. So I wanted to highlight some key takeaway points. Firstly, what we need to focus when creating our own strategies for our own enterprises is the element of innovation. Third sector allows us to experiment with different kinds of enterprises, different kinds of communities and networks. so we can come up with new ideas or maybe solutions that weren't implemented anywhere else before. But if you have an idea and you want to see if it can be used to help your local community, take a chance, do your research by using the possibilities of social enterprises. We can influence many aspects, and in this aspect, we want to help fighting the climate change and reverse the damage we did to the national environment, natural environment. Sorry. Second one is the importance of community and stakeholder engagement. Like I also mentioned, the key aspect of social enterprises are the people that are working within them, that they are beneficiaries of those social enterprises. That is why it's really important to reach out to them, get to know their opinions on things, and to understand what their view is. By that we can help them, but we can also tailor our actions and our initiatives to their needs, so we are mutually helpful to each other and beneficial for each other. And the third one is measuring and scaling impact. We can use quite a lot of different measures for making sure that our activities are actually making the positive impact we want to achieve. We can make our initiatives and our actions on a bigger scale by reaching out to other sources, or for example, for grants or for funding, for cooperation from bigger companies. These collaborations, if we have an idea for our strategy of our actions, we just need to be able to articulate it and provide others with the idea, and with a little bit of luck, maybe we can create really long-lasting and impactful initiatives that will help, in this case, fight the climate change and stop the implications and results of this damage to the natural environment. Thank you for taking part in this video and listening. This was only a small part of the possibilities that we wanted to show you in the SOCENTER project. For many other videos like this one or any other kinds of resources, please visit the website of the project, www.socenter.eu. From our project, you can also find there a full handbook for adults who want to start their own social enterprises, for more theoretical, but not only information. And if you also wish to engage in more practical parts, we invite you to take part in our e-learning course, where without leaving the safety of your home, you can learn and get to know even more resources and others that are interested in social enterprises and using it for making a positive impact on your communities in many other sectors, not only in helping the natural environment. Once again, thank you for listening, and bye.